Welcome back, guys. Okay, so this is the big question. The question that most of my friends who start playing have. It's the question that most, budget players have. I really don't think free to players have this question because they're very interested in the free to play aspect only. But the biggest question is the 10th anniversary bundle worth it? And so we need to break it down. Now, I do not think the the $300 one, I think there's usually like a mega one where it gives you a whole bunch of other crap. That one is probably not worth it. But this one, so unfortunately, I can't see it on this account, but we know when it's on sale, it's around a little under $200. We know that, unfortunately, the overlay doesn't show, but yeah, $200. That's a lot of money. A lot of money to drop on a game. Especially a game that is technically free to play. And especially a game that's like 13 years old. Like, is it really worth it? Well, obviously, you get this front thing like, wow, that's a lot of ships. That's 10 ships. That's easy math. $200, 10 ships, $20 a ship. We know that most ships cost $30. And they're not even going to be as good as a legendary ship. So, we got to ask ourselves, is it worth $20 a ship? And when we look at some of these other legendary packs, they're about $75 when on sale. So you're paying $75 for a ship and a captain upgrade, and then some other stuff. Now, granted, you are getting, like with this one, you're getting a special bridge officer that you can't get anywhere else. You're getting some special weapons that you can't get anywhere else. Is it worth it? Then you got these like multi-pack bundles where it's like I'm getting 2 ships for $75. Is it worth it? Plus some other stuff. So I would say there's 5 packs that are worth looking at. 10th anniversary, the First Strike, the Romulan, the Jemadar, and the Klingon. I'm not saying that these other ships aren't great. This is great. I'm not saying that, it's not great. But what I will say is that these are going to be the ones that we're looking at, because these are generally going to be a better value. So let's check out the value. So we get 10 ships. Also get 10 slots. I did have to name these weird because it won't let you name a ship the Enterprise. So whatever, or the Defiant, or the Discovery, or the Voyager. So just ignore the naming, okay? So let's break it down. We get 10 ships. That's $20. But we also get more than just ships. We get traits. And we're going to get the tier 5 trait plus a legendary trait. So almost all of these we're getting 2 traits. Some of these we're getting 4 traits. But altogether, we're getting 24 starship traits out of these 10 ships. Well, that's one thing that we buy a ship for. In fact, most of the time, why a person buys a ship is not for the ship itself, but for the trait, for the console. Other thing on this is we are getting 24 consoles. Now, Granted, some of them are going to be locked to that ship, like these Odyssey variants. Some of these are going to be locked to some ships, like these Odyssey Scimitar ones, flagship ones. Some of them are just going to be not very good. Popular. You know, you're getting 24 consoles, and you're getting 24 traits. Not all of them are going to be good. Not all of them are going to be useful. What else are we getting? We're getting a couple other interesting things. Off the Defiant, we'll get the quad phasers, which, yes, you can get off of the basic Defiant, which costs dilithium. But now you don't have to pay that dilithium every time you want the quad phasers. We are getting the wide-angle quantum torpedo, which, yeah, I believe there's another way to get this. But this is the easiest way to get it. Bam. Should upgrade. We are also getting something else very interesting. We're getting access to the advanced phaser beam arrays, which, for arrays, are probably the strongest phaser arrays in the game when used in multiplicative. So they have a 5% chance to gain 60% crit severity for each advanced beam. Well, when you have 6 of them, or if you're really going to go nuts, you could have 8 of them on the ship. That's a high chance at 5%. And to give them all 60% severity is really strong. The other thing is, if we look at these beam arrays, we can upgrade them. Now it turns into a Mark 12. And we can upgrade them to, Mark 15. And we can upgrade them from very rare to epic. Take a look here. I mean, just by clicking that upgrade button, we added a ton of DPS to them. The other thing we're getting some hangar pets. Not all of these hangar pets are going to be great. These tactical flyers are at best. The Voyager Delta flyers are kind of at best. The Type 8 shuttles are really meh. But we are definitely getting it. Probably the better ones out of all of them. Still all kind of. Alright. So, let's break down money-wise. So, if we're just interested in the 10 ships, that's an easy math. $20 per ship. Less than a C-store ship. Yeah, you got to pay $200 up front, but $20 per ship. That's realistically, that's good. I mean, it's not great, but that's good. $20 per ship is for legendary ships. That's pretty good. This is definitely that's a deal. But let's go a little bit more. Let's say we just wanted the traits. We didn't care about the ships. We didn't care about consoles. We just wanted the traits. That's 24 traits. That's $8.34 a trait. When you think about it, that's a decent deal. Listen, $10 a trait. Now, granted, you have to get them all, whether you want them or not. But under $10 a trade, that's pretty good. Also, if we look at consoles, that's also the same math. There's 24 consoles, $8.34 per console. If you're just in it for the consoles, which a lot of consoles that are tier 5 consoles or below, so I wouldn't probably be in it for just the consoles. But still, some people might, who knows. But when we add it all together, 10 ships, 24 traits, 24 consoles, that is $3.45 per item. That's not including the weapon arrays, the wide angle torpedo, the hangar pets, or the quad phasers. That is $3.45 per item. Also, if you really look at it, the other thing that those advanced phaser arrays do, under reclaim, you now have access to spend dilithium and get more, or get the disruptor version. So there is some extra there. Now, let's talk about the ships real quick, because that's the biggest expense part. Are these ships any good? Well, the Defiant. The Defiant is excellent. The Defiant is an excellent ship. It has 2 excellent traits: Withering Barrage and Overpowered Overgun. It has Quantum Torpedo Module. It's decent. It also has the cloaking device. Now, I'm not saying use this thing. I'm definitely not saying use this, because of the fact that it's a basic cloaking device. It's not a battle cloaking device. It's not a extra cloaking device. It's not an enhanced cloaking device. It's a basic old cloaking device. But it does come with the cloaking device console. Also comes with the quad phasers, which, if we look here, they're quite a bit more damage than the other ones. Now, granted, they do have the -10 engine power. That -10 engine power, if you have no engine power, will not stop the quad phasers from firing, like weapon power does. But it will give you -10 engine power when they fire. So, okay, Defiant down, good ship. The Disco. It's an okay ship. It's a secondary deflector ship that is a 4-2. That's a very strong science style ship. That has 2 tier 5 traits: Herring Machinations and Black Alert. Herring Machinations is honestly a very good do-psi trait, and Black Alert can be okay. It has situations where it can be okay. Temporal Anchor, this is the one that turns your gravity wells red. It's actually not a bad science trait. It does increase the damage of gravity well. You can get to the point where you can have, like aftershock gravity wells, super fast gravity wells, and you just have gravity wells everywhere, and having that extra damage is pretty good. Also, has a PvP aspect to it too, where it reduces the ability recharge by 2 seconds. Let's take a look at its consoles. Weaponized, so crit severity, phaser damage. When you're starting out, especially or on a new character, new, if you haven't bought a bunch of other stuff, this is pretty good. Phaser damage, crit severity, and then a decent click. It's okay. It holds a foe and does some physical damage. My seal ambush. It's okay. Now, granted, we're on the ground, so some of these numbers are going to be lower. but it does give you all the science stuff you need. And the Lorca maneuver, which teleports you forward, does some stuff, gives you fire cycle haste for energy weapons and crit chance, and then teleports you back and launches a bunch of torpedoes. Honestly, not a bad click. It's just it's a little disorienting. So a lot of, you don't see it on. Most of the stuff isn't going to be meta, but we're not talking about meta. We're not talking about min max. We're talking about, you know, if you were only to buy one thing in, you know, STO, is this worth it? And yeah, that's a good console. This is a good ship. Let's look at the Enterprise A. So we're going to get Built to Last, which all healing abilities reduce weapon power cost and give regeneration. Honestly, not that bad. You know, weapon power cost isn't, you know, super sought after, but can be useful. And whole regeneration is always useful. And the best diplomat, whenever hearing fire at will or beam overload, if you have max engine, shield, or auxiliary power, you're getting an additional 10% damage, up to 30% damage. Not the easiest thing to pull off. It is not super easy to pull off having max everything. But let's be honest, in the beginning, you're probably running power Daimon. Maybe you pick up a plasmatic leech for really cheap off the auction house. Maybe you have a couple other cheap traits off of the auction house, which, like, I forget the names of them, but there's one where, like, every couple seconds it increases the power of the weakest system. It's very possible as a new or budget player to get all your power stats up, which means best implement could be useful. The cube, everyone's favorite cube. This comes on like a bunch. 20% all damage. It's not bonus damage. It's just 20% all damage, so it is not as good as a tactical console. But for something you're throwing in your science slot or an engineering slot, 20% damage is great. Its clicky is really good. So it's going to hit all enemies around you. Lowers their engine power, or sets their engine power to 125. So they're moving more sporadic than they normally are. They are unable to attack you for 5 seconds. Sets all their other systems to 25, increases their flight speed, makes it so that way they can't turn, and reduces their damage resistance and their shield resistance. So what that does is, you ever fight those Mokai Klingons, where all of a sudden you're like being, you just start moving forward and you can't control your ship. That's what this is going to do. It's actually really good clicking, especially against like swarmers and stuff like that. Ionize. So preparation isn't the greatest thing unless you're in PvP, but it's okay. And then it's got a clicky that will seek out cloak targets, so it could be useful. I mean, this definitely feels more PvP than anything else. Take a look at the Enterprise D. So we're getting priority shift. Isn't great, but it's honestly not that bad either. Like reverse shield priority, if you have to use an engineering ability, like reverse shield priority, it's pretty decent. It's a decent one. It's definitely not great. Most engineering abilities aren't the greatest, but it's pretty decent. So it just adds some kinetic damage that goes through shields, and it's not bad. Make it so. So captain abilities grant healing and damage for 30 seconds per rank affected by the ship. And then ensign abilities grant okay. So yeah. It's okay. It's gonna give you some healing and damage. Not bonus damage. So it's okay. But if you got nothing else, this is not a bad one to have. Let's take a look at all the okay, so 2 of these are going to be only for this ship. The Galaxy class ships. Galaxy class cruiser variant. Very important to remember there. Galaxy class cruiser variants. I believe there's a couple other Galaxy class that do not work on. +5 to max all power subsystems. It's okay. The clicky is an AoE, very small AoE physical damage, and then gives you a defensive bonus. Yeah, that's okay. Saucer separation. This is the one that's probably the most famous one on the ship. It just detaches the saucer, gives you some minuses, gives you some bonuses. Very good when used with the Hydro console. And then the antimatter spread. This is a small or a tier 5 or under one. So it has no passives. And it just basically has a confuse decent in PvP. Also, we didn't look at this, but most of these will also come as a set. So if you have all 3 of these, the cloak does become a battle cloak, which is good. If you have 2 of them, you get time to reduce 20% recharge time reduced to cloak after decloaking, and some crit and crit severity. Disco, these ones I don't think are in a set. These ones are not in a set. SD ones, they are in a set. So more damage resistance, a little bit of flight turn, engine power setting, maximum shield capacity, shield regeneration, energy damage, that's 5%. Nothing that great. So let's look at the Enterprise E. We're going to get a couple more ones. So Specialist Knowledge, Intel and Command buff abilities, reduce engineering buff ability recharge time. It's not useful. Yeah, boimlers, that's what you're going to use. Not worth it. Vent plasma. After 50 seconds, each plasma pod created by eject warp plasma will explode, inflicting some plasma damage. It's not great, but you may end up using eject warp plasma because it's an uncon proc. So, if you have the open trade slots because you only have a couple ships, maybe worth it. The legendary one is defeated foes drop pickups that improve shield penetration. Okay, so whenever you defeat a foe larger than frigates, they'll drop like you've seen the Kobayashi Maru. It'll have these little things that just, they kind of pick up when you're near them, and it'll give you +10 to shield penetration. It's not bad. I mean, there's definitely times when that is very useful. Really think they could have made the assault cruiser better, considering how many weapons this ship really had. Out of all the Enterprises, this had the most amount of weapons. I think they definitely could have made the assault cruiser. Let's take a look at its. Well, let's look at the wide angle. It's just a wide angle, but there's not a lot of wide angles in the game, so it's one of the few wide angles in the game. Okay, the two of these are going to be locked in the assault cruisers. Flight turn rate, readiness is, and launches a warhead. So 2-minute charge to launch a big old plasma type. Okay. Crit chance and tactical readiness. And then an AoE taunt and stealth phase. So it taunts all enemies, then makes you immune to enemy or energy damage. But you also deal less energy damage. And then after 10 seconds, you're kind of offline for 5 seconds and makes you immune. Not a fan of it. I don't think it's that good. And then we got the tier under 5. So ejects a gas cloud, reduces their turn rate and impulse speed, and disables a cloak, and then deals some plasma damage. This has a 1-second recharge. Don't think that sounds right. If that is right, that is might actually supposed to be like a 1-minute recharge. Tier 5 or under. But we also have whatchamacallit. So if we have all of them, we get flight turn and more direct energy damage. And we enable a battle cloak, which gives us bonus damage after decloaking. Pretty much all your basic battle cloak stuff. Yeah, I mean, a battle cloak's always nice. Yep. I wish this was a 5.3 instead of a 4.4, but yeah, the decent chip. One of these is can be pretty decent, and unfortunately the consoles are. So, fortunately, I feel like the Enterprise E is. Let's look at the Enterprise F. This thing is good. So we're getting 3 basic traits. Supercharged weapons is a very strong trait. Can get you up to 30% damage and quite a bit of crit chance and crit severity. Checkmate is a very strong science torpedo trait. Hull plating is okay at best, unfortunately. And then its main one, continuing mission. So bonuses to team. Whenever you do a command or a fleet ability, everybody's getting 5% maximum hull, and you're doing hull regeneration to your whole team. It's okay, and it's a defensive one, so it's not super popular, but it's an okay trait. These are the ones that are going to be the tier 5 ones that are going to be stuck on the ship, are also getting the Type 8 shuttle. So let's look at a couple of these. Launch worker bees. Honestly, it's not. So you're launching 4 worker bees, and they're repairing 75 hit points over 1 second for 10 seconds. So altogether, 750 hit points per worker bee. Not a lot. It's just not a lot. They could increase this to, 300, and it might still not be enough. Chevron separation. So this also has the separation, where the saucer separation, just like the other. yeah, again, gonna be good with the Hydra console, definitely, or the Hydra trade. Actually, really good with the Hydra trade, but also good with the Hydra console. So if you have the Hydra, which we had talked about, um, it's a decent thing. The Aquarius Escort, which launches. So there's a little ship back here, like the captain's yacht. That's the Aquarius Escort, which is actually in the game as a ship called the Eagle. Um, yeah, I mean it's a pet that flies around you. Again, works with the Hydra consoles and the Hydra trade, so decent. It also has a 3-set bonus. So enhanced engineering, flight rate, recharge of Odyssey, 25% recharge of the Odyssey comp, and electroplasma flow, which isn't bad. It's okay. And then the enhanced chevron separation. This bonus allows your Odyssey saucer section to deploy its own worker bees while separated. In addition, gains the gravity well 3 ability. I mean that's like if you got nothing else going for you, like just Legendary Odyssey by itself is probably yeah. But not only that, it comes with the flagship console stuff. Does not come with the timeline stabilizer. That is on an event ship. That if you did not get the event ship, then unfortunately the only way to get it is this Phoenix prize pack, which is insane. But let's look at the stuff here. The first one is energy damage. Yeah, not bad. Fleet weapon, so gives you fire cycle haste, gives you turn rate, flight speed, affected allies. So it gives it to your team. Affected allies cannot activate or benefit from more than. So affects your team, which would affect hangar pets, I believe. That's a really good console. And that's actually a really good console. Dampening wave, so shield, and does a radiation AoE dot. Also makes their energy weapons 80% less damage, which is not bad. Again, not a bad console. Fortunately, we locked to the Odyssey Scimitar Klingon version. This one is an adaptive systems, so distance and hold capacity. Bonus all damage resistance. Bonus all damage. Yeah, this is good too. Yeah, I mean, what makes these good is their bonus. So they're additive instead of multiplicative. Means they're added before the multiplier. Very good. Let's take a look at it more at its 3-piece. So the 2-piece, crit chance and flight speed. It's 3-piece. When receiving damage while a shield facing is depleted, you have a 10% chance to apply deadly response, which gives you more bonus damage and temporary hit points. Actually, this is a really good 3-piece. Because it is 10% bonus damage and it can stack up to 3 times, which is 30% bonus damage, which is the same amount of bonus damage that you would get from Ruin from our enemies. Now, granted, a lot harder to apply it, where Ruin is a lot easier to apply, but Ruin is one of the most sought after traits in the game. So, and you're getting this off of a console instead of off of a trait. When you think about it that way, it is pretty decent. Now, if you did have the timeline stabilizer, or God forbid you did buy it with a Phoenix pack upgrade thing, then you could get that one. You would still go for Domino first. You'd still go for the Bajoran Interceptor. Repeat after me. I will buy the Bajoran Interceptor before I buy anything else out of the Epic Phoenix store. But if you did have this, then all it's going to do is reduce the recharge time of your stuff. So, or increase the radius from 4 to 5, not a big deal. Increases the duration from 15 to 20 seconds. Again, not that big of a deal. Reduces the health requirement from 50% to 75%. So, again, 3-piece is actually good. The 4-piece, could live without it. So now, let's look at the Enterprise. I called it the Enterprise K. It's the Kelvin Universe Enterprise. Alright, so bonuses start at 80% whole and reach maximum potential at 20% whole. So up to plus 20 to all subsystem power maxes, increased as whole percentage decrease. But as you take damage, your subsystem maximum power is increased. It's not very good. You don't want to be at 20% whole ever. You don't want to be at 80% whole ever. If you are, yeah, it's just not very good. Go on to the next one. Heard I needed help. When low whole, heals, and intel abilities called open timeline self. Okay, so when below 50% whole, using whole heals or intel abilities, calls a version of your ship from the Kelvin timeline to assist. In addition to weapons fire, it uses Constitution Shuttle, Wing, Delayed Overload Cascade, Augmented Boarding Party. After it arrives, there is 100 or can help again. So, if you ever do go below 50% health, and then you heal or use an intel ability, you're cloning yourself for a moment. It's okay. It's okay at best. Really just not a fan. Either way. It's just too sleek for me. Give me the old Enterprise and you do. But let's take a look at the console. Comes with only one console. Increases max auxiliary systems and then bonus to exotic damage. And then it has a warp core ejection. It's okay at best. It's part of a set, but you only get the items from the set. So, and broadside emitter arrays is off of Blow-By Store 1. I know that much. Yeah. And this one's probably a bust too, the Kelvin timeline one. Oh, we should also look here. Pilot ship, temporal ship. So these are going to be full of those. Miracle worker, so it's a full miracle worker. Full command. Full miracle worker. Full command. Full intel. Full temporal. Hate the look of the ship so much. Actually reminds me kind of like Prepid from the new card. But yeah, it will unlock the additional skins, so you will get the other skins. Highly recommend changing this back to the NX version of the Enterprise, which looks way better because, well, the NX version is just a it's an Akira flipped upside down. That's literally how they designed the NX Enterprise. It's an Akira flipped upside down. But let's look at this here. So we have preferential targeting. This comes off of the low-buy version. This is a really good trait. So after using fire at will or scatter volley, you're getting 100% damage to beam overload or cannon rapid fire. So what you would do is you would put scatter volley on your hotbar. Whether you have cannons on the ship or not, doesn't matter. You just put cannon volley on there. When you click it for the next 30 seconds, your beam overload's doing 100% more damage. Super strong. Very strong trait. Actually, incredibly strong trait. Field modified overload support. Your hull heals that target your ship, recharge, beam overload, and emergency weapons to power to the minimum cooldown. It's not needed. Again, recharging to minimum isn't that important. Boimler will do that. It's not an extender. It's just it's not good. It's useless. Unfortunately, that one's useless. Grappler, it's bad. It'll slow the target and then disable their cloak. It's only for 8 seconds. It's bad. You'll never use it. Point defensive bombardment warhead. It's actually really good. 25% increase to projectile damage. Some crit chance. You're going to get a clicky that will launch a warhead. It will do kinetic damage and an AoE. Yeah, it's actually a good clicky. Also, the other thing is it comes in a set with the DPRM, which is probably one of the most sought after consoles in the game. It comes off of the Atlas. We will be doing a review for the Atlas, or a build for the Atlas. The DPRM is an amazing console. If you are running them both, you will get 25% or 33% damage to phaser, disruptor, and plasma direct energy weapon damage. So definitely very, very useful console by itself, and pairs well with another meta console. So console here is the real prize, and that trade is a real prize. We'll save that one for that. Okay, Voyager. Shield heals grant temporary hit points. It's not very good. Sorry. That's just too low amount of hit points. If it was a percentage of the shield heal would grant temporary hit points, then yeah, it would be way better. But that's a very low amount. This one's interesting. So, increase flight speed at full impulse, increase inertia during full impulse, which means you're able to turn better, or not turn better, but you'll stop better. Turn speed at full impulse. Bonuses linger after exiting full impulse, which allows you to do the actual stop. And also improves your quantum slipstream. It's honestly not a bad trait. If you're doing Tour of the Galaxy, decent trait to get, because it will allow you a little bit more maneuverability when you're doing your quantum slipstream. You're getting the Delta Flyers. They're okay. I mean, phaser array, torpedoes, tachyon beam. It's okay. Let's take a look at the consoles. This one is, restricted to the Voyager. Also, it is a 3-3 secondary deflector, and it is a full miracle worker. So, shield capacity, and then launches a shuttle, which, the shuttle will be okay with the Hydra. I kind of wish it was not locked to the Intrepid, since it's a shuttle. This one is not locked, but it is a low one. So, upgrade your next torpedo attack to explode in a large shockwave. So, So, no, I mean, maybe it could be used for something. I'm gonna say no. This one's also locked behind the Intrepid. So deploy abrasive armor. I believe this one has a visual effect. 900 bonus all damage resistant. Takes your energy weapons offline for 15 seconds. Takes your shields offline for 15 seconds. If this was not locked to the Intrepid, it would be an incredible get out of jail button. Also would be good with torpedo builds. Now, that being said, believe the Trailblazer may be considered an Intrepid class. I'm not positive. If this can use that, then it may be worth trying. I'd have to check. I'm not sure. If this ship, which is the Mirror Universe version of the Intrepid, if it can use that console, it's well worth it because this is a 4-3. It is a incredibly good torpedo ship. Very good torpedo. It does have a Commander Science Command Miracle Worker. It's a 4-3. If this can use this console, then it may be definitely worth using in a torpedo build where you get a huge amount of damage resistance as a but honestly, you're probably just going to run the DPRM anyways, which is going to be just better and not take your weapons offline, and they'll give you a damage bonus. Let's take a look at this set piece. Nothing really there. Enables the use of photonic shockwave torpedo on the shuttle. Not very good. Let's look at the last one. So the original Enterprise. This is going to be a temporal flight deck carrier. So that means it is a 5-3 with 2 hangar bays. Flight deck carriers are strong. It is going to have 2 here. So plot armor, PLOT armor, plot armor. When taking more than 20% of your maximum health in 5 seconds, you gain plot armor for 15 seconds. Immune to transported warheads. Heals hull. Gives damage resistance. And removes any hazard debuffs and dots. It's okay. It's not bad. Weaponized time crystals. This used to be so much better. During special fire modes, weapon attacks apply anti-proton damage per second for 20 seconds. This used to be really, really good. It's very low damage, but if you have this with a fire at will build and maybe, you know, a bunch of bonus to anti-proton damage, so maybe you're running the bio beam arrays, like, it's better than nothing. Like, it's better than having no slot or no trait attached. But let's take a look at console. Kinetic damage resistance, shield hit points, and then launches a squadron of tactical fighters. Pretty much gives you a 3rd hangar bay. And that's really kind of what it is, a 3rd hangar bay. But affected pets gain 25% bonus all damage. It is only 20 seconds on a 2-minute recharge. So, kind of. The tactical fighters. I said they're okay. The micro phaser beam arrays are low damage beam arrays. It does get 9 of them, 6 in the front, 3 in the aft. Wish I can get that on one of my ships. I'd love to have a 6-3 ship. And then emergency power to weapons 1, 2, and 3, depending on the rank. And then again, we look at the advanced phaser beam arrays. They're just a high damage beam array that can scale really well. They are definitely, if you're using all of, you're not using, like, maybe you don't have the Terran phaser beam array yet, and you don't have some of the other big ones, this one is really, really worth it. Also, a lot of people like the ship just because it is the original Enterprise. Doesn't love the original Enterprise. So, that's all the ships you get in this. It's a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, we've been talking about it for 50 minutes now, almost an hour. So there's a lot of stuff in this. But there better be for $200. Is it worth the $200 now? That is the question. And I can't answer that for you. Only you can decide if it's worth $200. But we got good breakdown points. $20 a ship. Or $8.34 a console. Or $3.45 for every little item. Really comes down to how you feel about each of these ships. There are definitely some duds in here. There are definitely some duds. But there are some just amazing ships that are just epic to have. Also, you are getting access to all the skins. So, or all the skins that it came with. So if we take a look here. So you would get a refit. Gamma. The beta version. You would get access to the Ross. Galaxy. You would not get access to some of these other ones, like you don't get access to Mirror. None of the Mirror Universe stuff. So as a Mirror version, you don't get that. But you would get access to Monarch, which is ugly. Jeffrey's version. I believe you would get access to the newer looking version ones. But they've redone the so much, actually. And I think those are from other ones. You would get access to the NX version. Yeah, see, literally, it's just an Akira. Look at it from this angle. Akira. Upside down Akira. Get access to the refit, or they added the actual hole. See, so I think the console would work on here because the Trailblazer shows up as the thing. But this is the warship, and then Intrepid, Discovery, Cochrane. The Glen, and you would get access to, I think you get access. Your Universe one. Just cool. Defiant, you would get access to nose art and the normal version of the Defiant, the Gallant. So you get access to some of these other. So you get some skins too. Like, I didn't even incorporate the skins into the price of things, but in the end, it is up to you. Whether that is worth it or not, it's your choice. For me, it was obviously worth it. But I'm willing to spend a lot of money in this game. For me, definitely 100% worth it. But for you, maybe a different thing. Don't mortgage your house for anything in this game. Period. This game is not as important as family, friends, loved ones, health. There's a reason why I don't open lockboxes. I can't do gambling mechanics. Just for the safety of me and mine. So, everybody's got, to choose what they can do and what they can't. I love the legendary ships because they're account unlocked. So every character I make, I get access to those same ships. Same thing here with traits. I get access to all the legendary traits all the time. And yeah, again, better than nothing. Throw those on there. Beyond that, we will definitely be talking about a couple of the other ones here coming up. I do want to talk about both of the bundles, and I definitely do want to talk about the 2 captains that are worth getting. We'll be doing some more videos on some legendary ships here. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know what you guys think.